I'm a new at DXP right now. I've been a business broker for 25 years. Also, I'm a securities license. I'm looking for a broker dealer for the M&A. Uh, uh, anyone familiar with any of the broker dealers who might be a good fit for that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that what you need to do is reach out to some of the people in M&ASource. And if you're not a member at M&ASource, I would definitely join that organization. But you can reach out to Jim Afinowich or Bob McCormick or trying to think, Bill Loftus. Those guys all have securities licenses, and I think Afinowich, is associated with a broker dealer. I don't think they have their own Series 7, their own broker dealer license, but there are a number of people in M&ASource that have a Series 79.
Yeah.
And
so
they
M&ASource, you're talking about IBB M&ASource, right?
I'm talking about, M&ASource, which is a sister organization
or IBB, right?
Or IBBA, correct.
Okay. Great.
What is a security license?
A securities licenses allows somebody to sell securities or sell stock in a business as opposed to selling the entire business. And they can do capital raises for a company, and they can do, other things but essentially they are selling, they're selling the stock. It could be selling 20% of the stock of the company. It could be doing all kinds of things. So depending on the license they have, and what the company needs, they're allowed to represent companies in ways that, as a business broker, and the smaller companies that we're dealing with, oftentimes we don't necessarily run into those and don't have to deal with it.
And is that assuming it's private companies with stocks, not public traded, right? Because
correct,
that's on the stock market. Okay.
Correct.
No, publicly traded.
You mentioned
publicly traded companies.
Oh, public traded company. You can sell the stocks of public traded companies?
Well, not stocks, the company itself, if you want to sell.
Oh, the company itself. Sure. I understand. Okay.
You mentioned a Series 7 and a 79.
Yes.
Okay. What is the difference? And I know several people with a Series 6. They're retired from Chase Bank, which I think is what they require. But what if we were to do this, what would we have?
Series 6 mainly covers you for mutual funds and variable annuities.
Oh, okay.
Series 7 lets you do the full spectrum of investments.
That's a stockbroker. I know a fellow that has a Series 7. What's a 79 at time?
79 is for investment banking, for mergers and acquisitions, and having somebody wants to have funding done. But 7 covers you, but it's better to have 79 if you are going to do investment banking as such. Yeah.
I see. Well, we learned
Now, 79 is easier to get than a Series 7. 7 is a broker dealer. So if you have a 79, then you have to hang that license or be sponsored, have it under a broker dealer, under somebody that has a Series 7.
Now, if we didn't have either of those or any of those, and we run across a deal that would require that, what do we do? Can an attorney handle it, or what do we do? I guess we get a hold of Shaban.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it depends on what the company needs. So if they want to sell and they happen to be a C corp and therefore they want to be they want a stock sale, then the Broker Simplification Act that was passed last year, I think in 23, it allows, from a federal standpoint, or created an exemption for business brokers and for M&A advisors to be able to sell companies within certain criteria. Still does not give us a right to do capital raises, but if we're just selling a business, and it gives us a right to do that, where we're, as long as we follow specific guidelines, we're in compliance and we don't have any issues. However, that federal regulation does not preempt state law. So you have to look at your state law and see what's required by your state. There are 20 states that have already fallen into line with that Broker Simplification Act and the federal law. and they've said, okay, in our state, if you're a business broker, we're going to let you go ahead and do stock sales when you're selling the company. The Broker Simplification Act also allows brokers to sell part of a company. So, you still can't go out and offer stock, but if somebody is wanting to do a partnership buyout or wanting to, let's say you have a company that is owned by 4 people or it has 4 shareholders, and one of them wants to sell his 25% of the company, you can do that under federal law now, as long as the business is, under $25 million in revenue and, some other things. So I forget the exact criteria. It's all on both the IBBA.org website and also on M&ASource. So, just do a search or look under resources on IBBA's website, and you'll find a whole presentation on the Broker Simplification Act, what it allows, what it doesn't allow, and what you can do. But just understand that every state is different and it does not preempt state law. So if your state law says you cannot sell stock, then, without violating or without being registered or having a securities license, then don't sell stock. I mean, then partner with somebody that does have a securities license, and you get collect a referral fee or something like that. But you always want to make sure you're in compliance.
Sure, of course.
So, but yeah, 79 is definitely easier to get than a Series 7. And there are brokers out there there are broker dealers out there that specialize in working with M&A advisors. And so you just, I don't know who they are because I don't have a securities license. But also remember that when you get a securities license, all of a sudden you become under the thumb of FINRA, which is what I specifically want to avoid. So there are all kinds of compliance issues, all kinds of, every ad you put together needs to be reviewed by a compliance department before you put it out there. Just stuff that is too much of a nightmare for me. So I steer clear. Personal choice, right? Everybody has to make their own decision.